Action.
This is the last time I'm ever gonna need anything from a man. The last time I make my living on my back. Ava is like an enchantress, a siren. She casts spells on men, you know, she can read men's minds.
Action.
And she can become what they want her to be. I mean, the character of Ava is such a gift for an actor. She can be, you know, the damsel in distress, the goddess, a sexy kitten. She's quite evil. She uses men to get money and power. Dwight, how long has it been? 4 years?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Have a seat.
I felt like I was in a movie from the 40s when she sees Dwight in the bar. The dialogue, the lighting, you know, I'm a big fan of Betty Davis, Rita Hayworth, Barbara Stanwyck. She's quite a complex character with many women within one woman.
Dwight's relationship with Ava is a very passionate relationship, it's a very sexy relationship, but it's an all-encompassing relationship. It's not something that he really has any control over. I call her every foul name there is. She makes my name sound like music, like a chant to some dark god.
I think she does the damsel in distress thing really well. You know, Dwight likes to be a hero, and she brings that out in him.
Damien, my husband, it's worse each time. He says I'll be very ugly before I die.
Ava, you're not gonna die.
It's hopeless.
Every guy wants to be the protector, save the woman, that kind of thing. And that's what she sets him up to do. And you know, he's willing to do anything for her, to kill, maim, and put himself in a position to be, you know, extremely hurt.
What did it feel like?
What?
Murdering an innocent man. I just want to know what it felt like. It must have been beautiful.
What are you talking about, innocence?
I knew I could count on you. Sex always made you stupid, ready to believe anything. You've just made me very rich.
A little bit lower. Let's take it from you standing up again.
Ava Lord has, and I'm just quoting Frank because I asked him, I said, is something in Ava Lord's past that made her want to come this way? Was she really hurt and now she's getting revenge on just anybody who gets in her way? He goes, oh no, she's a demon. She has a supernatural ability to crawl into a person's head and twist them around. It's like, holy crap. She's a succubus. And so I said, okay, well, that at least now I know what to tell the actress.
You're a Sin City cop. You've got a badge and a gun, you've got power. Use it. It's always a pleasure, actually, to play evil roles, I have to say. It's very jubilating. If you're a man, kill him. Maybe because I'm shy in real life, so it's fun to explore the dark side.
You could pulse such an instinct is where you used the word matrimony.
Ava Green has a way of spanning decades with her performance. She's really got it all. She's a very disciplined, very clever actress.
You're a warrior.
If she looks at you like she loves you, then you're convinced. It's true.
I mean, she has these eyes that are so, I don't know, that threw me off center when I first met her. You know, because she's got this look and you're just like, what's happening?
When you're immune to me, I'll let you know.
And then you see it on screen. You get to see the black and white, that heavy contrast and the crushed blacks, and her eyes just pop like crazy.
Sorry, Dwight.
I think she's an amazing actress.
You're looking right at me.
She's perfect. She pulls it off to where you go, okay, yeah, that's a dame to kill for.
And action. Lower down. Can't do it.
There's a different swagger, I guess, that Frank and Robert both have. I mean, first it was like, this is so cool, can you believe we're doing this? And now it's, this is so cool, can you believe we're doing this? But I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna make sure I get every piece of everything that I want this to be in here. In the first one, she was this beautiful, innocent, sweet victim. She was a damsel in distress. Can't lose you. Not again.
You'll never lose me, Nancy.
Hardigan came and was her knight in shining armor, but then the devastation of him committing suicide and leaving her alone in this rotten town, it soils her and she gets sad and depressed. She's an alcoholic, she's a mess, really.
Maybe I'll go crazy.
But instead of getting swallowed up by Sin City, she emerges as this pretty badass warrior.
Lower down.
Jessica Alba was a joy to work with on the first movie, but nothing prepared me for what she brought to the second. She dug deep, and rather than becoming a more traditional character, I think she really achieved something special.
Beautiful Nancy. Jessica Alba has just evolved so much since I've known her. I knew this was a role that she could really sink her teeth into, and she did. And she was the first thing we shot. And it was the perfect thing for us, because it set the tone for everything, everybody. I mean, I had never experienced that before.
Rotten town. It soils everybody it touches.
This rotten town. It's soiled you, John Hardigan.
I mean, Bruce Willis appeared later, and he's like, what happened with her?
You said you'd never leave me.
It's really good. Yeah, really good.
You're not even here right now. You're dead.
I said, Bruce just gave you major props.
Stuck your gun in your mouth. And you blew your brains out.
And it shows when you see it, when she does, you just go, okay, that's a different level.
I've really enjoyed doing the tougher emotional stuff because I feel like usually that's given to a guy.
Just give me a damn name.
And to see a woman take her emotions and not be victimized, but turn it around.
Rourke.
I think it's nice to see that.
And action.
Everybody could tell there was something different about what she was doing. I mean, Mickey Rourke pulled me aside and goes, there's something going on with her. She's really doing great. I said, you just got props from Mickey. He never gives anyone props, I'm telling you right now.
Piece of crap, Lucy. How did they get all stuck? You're a peach.
Nancy takes quite a journey. You would not recognize this Nancy from the first one. As an actress, it's really fun because I couldn't be further from this as a person. I'm a mother of 2 little girls, and my day-to-day is sleep schedules and meetings at school and doing things like that. And then when I come here, I get to play this badass alcoholic dancer who is seeking revenge. It's pretty cool. I feel very lucky.
Nice, great. Good. And action.
You know, when Robert calls you and says you want to do something, you know it's going to be unique, you know it's going to be tortured, you know it's going to be a little dark and fun. And then you have all the sexuality and the action on top of it. Ava. You're just part of a painting. You're a brushstroke in this very big mural that's created by Frank and Robert. Yeah.
Dwight, is that you?
Ava.
Frank and I had a very short list of actors that we thought felt like old school, you know, John Garfield type mugs and manly men. That's how Frank draws. But also the acting quality has to be that.
She isn't worth a moment's thought, and I can't get her out of my head.
You know, Josh Brolin, who comes in, he has the most amazing voice. So when his voice comes on, it's as if he's sitting in your lap. And the movie's gonna be in 3D, so it's gonna be pretty wild.
Never let the monster out. Shake her off. Whatever she's in for, she deserves it.
Dwight McCarthy is a very metamorphic figure. He has had a tragic affair that ended horribly and is just recovering and trying to pull his life back together. And just as he's starting to crawl out of the muck, the woman of his dreams comes back.
She's late, like she always was. And like always, she's worth the wait.
Yeah, Ava casts spells on men, and with Dwight, it's very interesting because there's a true connection. He's different from the other men. He's probably the only man that she could have ever loved.
Dwight's relationship with Ava is just, it's a relationship that's, you know, I mean, what would you call it now? It's codependent, you know? That's the modern version of it. You know, he can't seem to let her go.
I'm in hell, Dwight. It's worse than you can imagine.
You made your bed, sleep in it.
Forgive me, darling, I beg you. I love you.
No.
It's just kind of amazing how all the stuff that he's built, the scaffolding that he's built in the last 4 years, falls away very quickly.
You have 10 seconds to tell us what you're doing bringing cops to Old Town.
Gail.
Dwight.
Gail loves him. She's got a long history with Dwight. They keep coming back into each other's lives.
Gail is like a sister to him, but she's not, obviously. You know, I mean, they have this intuitive relationship. She has a pull on him, he has a pull on her.
He knows that even though their relationship is rocky, that she's always going to be there for him. And so they still, that great love story we kind of set up in the first film, you see it here, even though he has a different face. It's that same, these two people still have a great hold on each other. There's almost like nothing stronger than death or love in Sin City.
I thought there was another world out there. I thought I could be a part of it.
There's only Sin City.
It's a very complete, exaggerated, huge world that you don't even know you're in until you see the movie, and then you're like, oh my God.
Action. Never let the monster out.
Stand closer.
Okay, PK, how's that? Good?
Good, yeah.
All right.
I've just always been a fan of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think besides just a fantastic actor, he's just an amazing creative person. He has a creative life that I admire.
Great cut. Very nice.
And I thought he would really get a kick out of just seeing the operation, and he would, you know, take some of that with him and be inspired by it. I knew he would bring some tricks I had never seen before, and I just thought he would knock it out of the park. I couldn't picture anybody else.
Action.
Johnny, he likes a game of chance. He's good with the cards, good with the coins. I guess you could say he's a gambler. I guess you could say that's his sin.
I'm ready for your worst.
Boy, you don't even want to dream about my worst.
He's sort of sucked into Sin City and he ends up going down a bad road. This is what this movie's about, those dark places that we can end up being seduced into.
Senator Rourke has a lot of fun with Johnny. He made a fool of me, boy. Right in front of the wrong people. He perceives him as just this young hotshot who thinks he knows a lot more than he does.
You took your chances like we all did, and you lost.
I have to do some work on him. He has a bullet I gotta remove. He has a hand that's like totally mangled. He was just so good because he really was very convincing, portraying the pain and the anguish, which made my work all the more enjoyable.
Quite a job you did on me, Rourke. Even my shoes.
Okay, slow it down.
It was Joseph Gordon-Levitt who is a real co-partner on that character.
We've been sort of coming up with who the character is together. You know, it was written in the script, but there weren't any drawings, and so it didn't have as much specificity as really all the other characters. So Frank's been rewriting as we've been going, saying like, oh, I see what you're doing here, I like what you're doing there. Well, if you're gonna do that, then you shouldn't say this, you should say that. That's kind of an actor's dream, to be working with filmmakers who are so collaborative and so open.
My name is Greg Nicotero. I run a special effects and makeup studio called K&B Effects. And we are the special effects and makeup studio that provides the creatures, the characters for all of Robert's movies, and most particularly on Sin City 2.
K&B back again, of course, doing their fantastic work, coming in and just matching stuff, making it look like the first film, and then some new characters. You know, can always count on them.
To walk across the same parking lot and walk into the same soundstage that we shot in 2004 and see the same faces and the same people. It's a really unique place to be in 9 years later, where we're revisiting those characters again.
He was in the mirror. He was in the mirror all morning.
All morning. This is the new face. Look, yeah.
Somewhere in there. Because his chin and his nose touch when he does it.
We all have a really great relationship, and we've developed it over the years of working together and collaborating and presenting to our director, here's the solution to how to do this.
Don't move.
We had a visual template because of Frank's books. So we always knew what we were shooting, which frame, which panel was being shot in terms of reference to the graphic novel. Accents like highlighting the eyes or changing the color of one particular character or taking any of the reflection out of the glasses. It was the little accents that had made it really not only capture the spirit of the books, but make it a visual experience as a movie.
Thanks for my life, man.
In the first movie, the makeup was time consuming. I got a call from Robert and I said, we got to figure out a way to just streamline that process and do the down and dirty as quick as we can. Because you got to put yourself in a mindset to sit in that makeup chair because you're the first person in there and you're cold and you're tired and you just got out of bed, and the last thing you want is people putting glue on your face and airbrushing. And I didn't want it to be something that overpowered anyone to the point where it's like, oh, you know, the makeup, we have to deal with this. That's not the way you want to go into any scenario. So we tried to make it fun. Designing characters for movies, everything has to fit organically within that and allow the director and his vision to sort of grow as he gets together with the actors and they rehearse and then they shoot scenes and they start, it sort of coalesces in front of you. And there was always a concern when you do character prosthetics is you don't want to hide the actor. You still want to be able to feel the actor in there. If you build stuff up too much, then it distances your audience from them and then it feels like a mask. So it's always really critical to keep the actor in as part of the character. There's a scene where Marv is beating the hell out of Manute, you know, and he's established as having this gold orb, but we never really know what happened. So in Sin City 2, a lot of our stories take place prior to the first movies.
Well, I haven't had my hand around one of these in days.
Do you want a dry eyeball? Hey, Jeremy, bring one of the dry eyeballs.
Dry ball? No, show me. Okay.
We made a silicone eyeball that we were able to inject some KY and some fake blood and some yellow pus and slime and all kinds of nasty stuff in it. So I'm just out of frame. I'm about 5 feet away from Mickey, and during the take, he's punching into a bag with blood splattering up on him, and then he reaches out and pulls the eyeball up.
Well, I haven't had my hand around one of these in days.
Turns it and pops it into his mouth. Wasn't supposed to do that. He was supposed to just look at it. So I look over at Robert and Gino, and I'm looking up, and when I look back, he swallows.
Wow.
Dude, I thought you swallowed.
Get some water so you spit it out.
One of the characters we did was Walinquist, one of my favorites from the book. I was always, okay, that guy's gonna have to be made out of CG. Nobody looks like that. He's almost like Jabba the Hutt. But Frank Miller is friends with Stacy Keach, who I'm a huge fan of. I said, oh God, it'd be great to put Stacy Keach. Unfortunately, we won't see much of him. He'll be completely under makeup, but he's great at transforming himself and being unrecognizable. So talked to Stacy and said, it's a bad guy. And he said, oh, I like bad guys. And he dropped his voice really low. I said, okay, you're in. Because you're Stacy Keach 1, and you're going to be completely unrecognizable.
You have limited influence on me, Mrs. Lord.
I haven't been doing so very badly.
But those two policemen, that was an embarrassing blunder.
There's a sequence where Dwight and Marv are escaping, and Dwight's been beat up by Manute and has a lot of damage. And we did a couple test makeups, and the concept art in the graphic novel is really obscure in regards to it's very impressionistic, blood splattered and a big eyeball sticking out. And so when Robert and I started talking about it, he's like, no, just imagine that the eyelid was ripped away and his eyeball's just sort of sitting there in the socket about to come out. And so we did a really cool sculpture and applied it onto Josh, and even just the way that they shot it, it really had a lot of depth to it, so it just looked like all the meat had been removed from around his eye. So between that and a bunch of cuts and bruises and things like that, it became pretty spectacular.
Get me to Old Town. Let me level with you, pal. You ain't gonna make it to Old Town.
I'll make it. I've got too much I've got to do to let myself die.
It's Sin City did it the first time out of the gate, and they did it the best. That really delicate blend of capturing the visual look of the graphic novel. It's a project that I wouldn't have missed for the world. You know, I told some friends I was working on Sin City 2, like, dude, you have the greatest job ever. I'm like, you know what? I actually do have the greatest job ever.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Mickey's stunt double is Jeff Dashnow, who's my longtime stunt coordinator.
And action!
Great, I like that one. Cut, let's do one more, then I'll get tighter.
Set right away.
I have made 11 films with Robert. It's cool. It's like, you know, working for your brother, your friend.
That's awesome. Let's do one more, like that's great. So we get a little tighter.
On the first Sin City, Mickey had a double that he had been working with for a while, so I brought him in, and the appliances, the facial appliances, didn't fit him very well. So I brought another guy in, and they fit okay, but made his face look a little smaller than Mickey's. So Robert, recognizing the fact that I have quite a large head, told Greg Nicotero to try the appliances on me. And as we were leaving Robert's office, and as soon as we got to where I thought maybe Robert wouldn't hear us, I said, Greg, don't put them on very good. I don't want to do this. So Greg, being the consummate professional, put them on nicely, and we walked into Robert's office, and he goes, yeah, you should double, Marv. The appliances look good on you. So that's how it happened.
24 more times and we'll have it.
I can kind of make some faces like Mickey, and actually a couple times I've looked at some photographs that are taken, and I can't tell who's who unless they're very, very tight photos.
This one would be real close. Maybe this is the first time when you first come in, just to look at your face.
Gotcha.
You're speeding up behind him. He's become an incredible double for Mickey, for stuff that we would encounter later, or when Mickey was gone, and now we're filming Josh Brolin, and we need a Mickey there. Jeff could come in and do it.
He's one of the most talented stunt coordinators I've ever worked with. I would never want to do a movie without him because he has a great attitude.
As a stunt coordinator, I try personally to involve the actors in anything they want to attempt within reason. Obviously, we're not going to have them crash a car or, you know, jump a motorcycle or something like that. But fight scenes, physical scenes, obviously you want to see the actor's face because that's who you're paying to see. You know, we could go a little further with a guy getting run over by a car, or a guy getting shot, or a guy getting punched. Everything can be a little bit over the top because it is Sin City. So a guy might get punched and not fall down. He might do a couple backflips and go 30 feet.
Ready, and 3, 2, 1, go! Go! Action, ready? Yeah, go fight it pretty good. Keep going, it's okay, it's okay.
When Mickey gets on there, we're going to wire him in to a harness, safety him off.
The wire gags they're not complex, but you have to think about them a little because we have limited space in there. So we try to get the most out of it. So it takes several rehearsals, and all the guys and girls have ridden the wires. I have Dana Reed doubling Miho, Dana's really beautiful in the air and really has striking poses in the air, in motion. She does a great job doubling Miho, but Jamie, who's playing Miho, we've had her on the wires for maybe a half hour before we had to shoot her on wires, and she was amazing.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and action! Go!
We've got Kim Stiles, who's doubling Eva, who we have to do some diving board stuff with, which is a little complicated. We're trying to figure out how to do it without wires if we can get the flip that Robert wants, just because there's not much wardrobe. Robert is very creative, and in his mind he sees it happening before it happens, and kind of makes it easy for me.
Kick your left leg up. Kick your left leg, Jeff.
Jeff Dashnow, him and his family coming in and just, of course, doing their fantastic work, but also just the stunts that they would design, the fights, and visualizing some of these stuff that weren't in the book that we added. That's pretty essential.
Say, Jeff, here we go. Your call, Johnny. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Jeff Dashnow is the living equivalent of Superman without the superpowers. Only some superpowers.
Hey,